Well, it's been a few weeks since I worked on the skid steer, but I finally got my parts in today, and I've been going through them trying to figure out what's what. I really didn't know what I ordered. I just told them what I needed, and they fixed up an order for me and sent it. So I'm assuming these buckets here are the sprocket rebuild kits. And then I got 12 wheels, and I'm not really sure what that is yet. I'll have to open it up and see. But I did figure out that 4 of the wheels are split wheels, and they go on the middle of the idler. This one right here, you can see right there, there's a split in it. And I'm not real sure on the process of changing these, because I've looked all over YouTube trying to find videos on it, and there's not really anything out there. I did find one video of a guy working on them, and the part in his video of changing those idler wheels only lasted about 15 seconds, so I can't find anything showing how to get them apart. But I know that you got 4 bolts here, and then on the back side there's 4 bolts. You got to take those out, and this whole assembly slides out. So I'm going to get those bolts out of there and see if I can figure out how to get this apart. Now that's a whole lot easier than I thought it was going to be. Well, I got it out. I got it over here on my workbench. Well, I guess you could call it a workbench. It's my workbench that I started working on and never got to finish. I'll get to it one of these days. But sitting here looking at this thing, and I'm not really sure how this thing comes apart. But what I'm thinking is that you take these bolts out, and this plate here doesn't look like it's attached to anything other than just being bolted on. So I'm thinking you take those bolts out and both end plates will come off. And then what I'm hoping is that this center, once you pull the bolts out, it comes apart, because like I was saying before, it's split right here, and it's split all the way through. So it should separate and come out so I can put the others back in. My bearings seem to be really good. The only thing I'm concerned about is this one dust seal here is a little bit frayed, but I think it'll probably be okay. And then I was noticing this right here. It's got a plate here, it says grease filler, and then there's a plug right there of some sorts. I'll have to see if I can figure out how to get it out. I'm just guessing what I'm doing here, so basically I don't know what the hell I'm doing, and I'm just going to have to figure it out as I go. I tried to use my ratchet to break these nuts loose, but I couldn't get them to come loose. They're pretty tight, and it looks like the threads are pretty rusty too. And a couple of them look like they're a little bit rounded off too, from like that one right there. I'm sure there's been some big rocks in there banging around. You can see right here, it's cut into the metal, so there had to be some rocks in there at some time or another. But a friend of mine gave me a can of this stuff called Creepola. It's a penetrating lubricant, and he says it's really good. So I'm gonna spray this thing down tonight, let it soak, and then in the morning I'm gonna put it in my press and put some pressure on it to hold it down, so I can try to use a bar on my ratchet and get them broke loose, and then I'll use my air ratchet to take it the rest of the way apart. So it's the next day now, and I let these bolts soak overnight in that crepola spray. Hopefully now they'll come loose. But I put it up here in my press to try to figure out a way to hold it down, because I tried yesterday to hold it down on the ground and turn these, and I couldn't get enough leverage to do any good. So I'm going to spray it down one more time, let it soak, while I try to figure out some way to hold this thing down. Oh my God. I'm gonna have to find a breaker bar. I can't never find nothing when I need it. Can't find my breaker bar anywhere. So I'm gonna try out my old air ratchet, see how it does. This thing's probably 30 years old at least, maybe older, but it's been a good one. Okay, so I got it over here on my little workbench. And I'm just hoping that this thing comes apart like I think it does. Uh-oh. Oh yeah. Well, that one bolt don't want to come out. There we go. Oh yeah. Okay. Okay, so that's not going to be as bad as I thought. I'll just get the rest of it apart and I'll be good to go. I thought I messed up bad because I got to talking to one of the renters and wasn't paying attention to what I was doing. I was taking this apart. I got to looking, and there is an offset from one side to the other on these rollers, and I didn't pay no attention to which way they came off. So I had to go back and watch the video and see what I done. But this deep dish side goes to the insides on both ends, and then the middle one, it doesn't matter because it's the same. So I'm gonna get this thing thrown back together and try to get it back in the skid steer. Well, it goes together a lot quicker than it came apart, so I don't want to bore you with all the little details about putting it back together, so I'll get back to you when I get this done. Well, since I recorded most of the process of doing the first set of rollers, I'm probably just going to zip through this one real quick. I'm probably going to time lapse most of it. Like I was saying earlier, where I've been sick, my voice is real hoarse and I got a pretty bad sore throat still, so I'm just going to zip through this quick as I can, get it done, and then I'll record the process of putting everything back together. Oh, if I didn't say anything about this crepola, this stuff works really good. I can't remember if I mentioned it or not, but I'd never even heard of it before until a friend of mine told me about it. He gave me this can. I'm gonna get me some more of it because it's some good stuff.